From boundary-pushing lyrics to scandalous themes, these songs turned heads and broke all the rules. First up, we're diving into Lola by the Kinks, a track that had the world talking about gender, identity, and a little bit of cola controversy. Ray Davies, the genius behind the Kinks, wrote Lola, one of the most iconic and controversial songs of the 70s. The track tells the story of a young man who dances with a mysterious woman, only to later discover that she is actually a man.
Girls will be boys and boys will be girls. It's a mixed up, muddled up, shook up world except for Lola.
Bold and groundbreaking, Lola was one of the first mainstream songs to explore gender identity and sexuality, which made it super provocative for its time. But that wasn't the only thing that got people talking. The original lyrics mentioned Coca-Cola, and the BBC, with its strict rules against brand mentions, banned the song. So Ray Davies hopped on a plane to London, re-recorded the line as Cherry Cola, and boom, the song was back on air. Lola became a massive hit, and its themes continue to spark conversations today, making it one of the Kinks' most unforgettable tracks. Brown Sugar, written by Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, was the explosive lead single from the Rolling Stones' Sticky Fingers album. But let's just say it didn't exactly win everyone over. The song stirred up major controversy for its bold, and some say provocative lyrics, touching on topics like slavery, interracial relationships, and sexual exploitation. The opening lines, describing a slave being whipped on a plantation, blended with lust-filled imagery, which made people uncomfortable. Some fans thought it was a critique of history's atrocities, while others found the tone too insensitive and exploitative. Given its portrayal of race and gender dynamics, many US radio stations refused to air it at first, fearing backlash. While it wasn't outright banned, it was heavily censored in some places. Despite the controversies, Brown Sugar skyrocketed to the top of the charts, becoming one of the Rolling Stones' most iconic and divisive songs. God Save the Queen was written by Johnny Rotten and Sid Vicious as a direct attack on the British monarchy and, well, the establishment itself. Released during Queen Elizabeth II's Silver Jubilee celebrations in 1977, the song couldn't have come at a more ironic time. While the nation was celebrating royal pride, the Pistols were taking aim at the very idea of monarchy and authority. With lyrics like, "God save the Queen, the fascist regime," Johnny Rotten didn't just criticize the Queen, he criticized the entire system. The song portrayed the monarchy as a symbol of a corrupt, oppressive society, especially in the context of the UK's economic and social unrest. Unsurprisingly, the authorities didn't take kindly to this. The BBC banned the song, radio stations refused to play it, and retail stores like Woolworths refused to sell it. Despite the backlash, the song soared to number 2 on the UK charts. The controversy only fueled the Pistols' rebellious image, proving once again that punk was the voice of defiance. In 1972, Paul McCartney and his wife Linda wrote "Give Ireland Back to the Irish" as a powerful response to the tragic Bloody Sunday massacre in Northern Ireland, where British soldiers killed 13 unarmed Irish protesters. This was the first single from McCartney's new band, Wings, and it was a far cry from the love songs he was known for with the Beatles. You got stopped by Irish soldiers. Hey, would you lie down? The song boldly called for Irish independence and criticized British rule, making it incredibly controversial. With a title that speaks for itself, "Give Ireland Back to the Irish" sparked heated debates. The BBC, along with other UK broadcasters, banned it outright, deeming it politically sensitive and inflammatory. But, as often happens with banned music, the controversy only boosted its appeal. The song shot to number 1 in Ireland and even cracked the UK top 20. McCartney's brave move showed he wasn't afraid to use his platform to speak out on important political issues.
This is the end, my only friend, the end.
The End, written by all members of The Doors, became one of the band's most infamous songs. With Jim Morrison's stream of consciousness lyrics, it's a psychedelic masterpiece that stretches over 11 minutes. But what really made this song controversial were its unsettling and taboo themes. The spoken word section includes the infamous lines, "Father, yes son, I want to kill you. Mother, I want to," leaving a chilling unfinished thought that hints at Oedipal fantasies. The song's exploration of death, family conflict, and existential despair shocked many in the conservative 60s cultural climate. While it was never officially banned, radio stations censored it, cutting it down or refusing to play it in full. The intense, provocative lyrics and eerie delivery made it too raw for mainstream audiences, making The End a true symbol of the counterculture era.
You don't believe we're on the eve of destruction.
Written by P.F. Sloan, Eve of Destruction wasn't your typical 60s pop song. It was a raw, politically charged anthem that painted a grim picture of the world on the brink of disaster. With the threat of nuclear war, civil rights unrest, and the Vietnam War hanging over America, Sloan captured the sense of impending doom. The opening line,
Eastern world, it is exploding.
sets the tone for McGuire's haunting delivery, calling out everything from nuclear bombs to environmental destruction. The song's blunt message about societal failure was a tough pill to swallow for many, especially among conservative listeners who weren't ready to face such stark realities. The controversy didn't stop there. Radio stations banned it for being too political and unpatriotic. Despite the backlash, Eve of Destruction became a powerful anthem for the protest generation, capturing the anxiety and anger of the era. Serge Gainsbourg, the French musical genius known for stirring controversy, created the infamous Je t'aime, moi non plus. Originally written for his lover Brigitte Bardot, she pulled back, fearing scandal. So Gainsbourg turned to actress Jane Birkin, and together, they recorded a song that would push every boundary. The track is explicit, with steamy lyrics, Birkin's breathy vocals, and very suggestive moans. It was a raw exploration of love and lust, too much for many to handle. The Vatican slammed it as immoral, the BBC banned it, and it was yanked from airwaves across Europe. Even in France, where Gainsbourg was a national treasure, some stations hesitated to play it. But guess what? Banning it only made the song more desirable. Je t'aime moi non plus climbed to the top of the charts and remains one of the most controversial and unforgettable songs in music history.
Try to put us to death. Talking about my generation.
My Generation, written by Pete Townsend of The Who, is the anthem of youthful rebellion. Released in 1965, it was a direct shot at the older generation, with its unforgettable line,
Hope I die before I get old.
The song became an instant rallying cry for the counterculture movement, with its raw energy and defiant tone. Roger Daltrey's stuttering vocals weren't just a quirky style choice. They were meant to express the frustration and anger of youth. But this wasn't just a song about frustration. It was a challenge to authority and social norms. The BBC wasn't having it. They banned the track, claiming the stuttering delivery might offend people with speech impediments. Plus, the rebellious lyrics were too much for the establishment to handle. Despite, or because of, the ban, My Generation skyrocketed, solidifying its place as a timeless declaration of youth defiance.
It ain't me. It ain't me. I ain't no fortunate one.
Fortunate Son was written by John Fogerty, who was deeply moved by the injustice of the Vietnam War. The song was born out of the inequality he witnessed, where privileged young men dodged the draft while working-class folks were sent to fight. The lyrics,
It ain't me, it ain't me, I ain't no senator son.
Hit hard, targeting the elite who had the means to avoid serving in the war. Fogerty later admitted that the song's inspiration partly came from political figures like David Eisenhower, showing how the wealthy and powerful evaded the sacrifice of their less fortunate peers. Fortunate Son became a powerful protest anthem, criticizing the hypocrisy behind the idea of patriotism. Unsurprisingly, it didn't sit well with pro-war groups and conservative stations, and many radio outlets banned it, calling it un-American. Ironically, the song was later played during the Gulf War. I Am the Walrus is John Lennon's mind-bending masterpiece, designed to bewilder and entertain. Lennon, tired of critics overanalyzing every Beatles song, decided to craft something completely absurd. The lyrics are a whirlwind of strange and random images.
Yellow man of custard, dripping from a dead dog's eye.
The randomness was deliberate, a way to poke fun at the expectations of what pop music should be. The controversy? Well, the surreal lyrics and themes rattled a lot of people, especially with references to death and absurd wordplay. The line,
"Boy, you've been a naughty girl, you let your knickers down,"
raised eyebrows, and some listeners found the whole thing offensive. On top of that, its chaotic anti-establishment tone didn't sit well with the more conservative audience of the time. Despite being banned on some radio stations and misunderstood by many, I Am the Walrus remains a bold statement of artistic freedom, a track that pushed the boundaries of what pop music could be. That's a wrap on some of the most controversial banned songs of the 60s and 70s. If you enjoyed these stories, like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more music history. Also, don't forget to watch our video on 10 forgotten 60s bands that vanished without a trace.